right here. Origins on the Symbolism of Heraldry. This is from my book. I'm just going to read one page. With all the information on the origins of the surname Wade, which is my last name, comes from England, the original Saxons. The first inhabitants of the Isles were people of color, of course, and black people. In ancient times, we were described as swarthy, tawny, copper-coated peoples, as well as tribal and regional names throughout centuries. Our names changed, but some of our people knew that we were descendants of the nation of Israel, or the children of Israel. Through heraldry, the symbolism is the image, and the colors have a meaning along with the images to express the lineage and nationality. That's why we see certain colors: blue, gold, red, etc. When we look at the crest and old emblems of the lion, that is a reference to the line of Judah, or tribe of Judah. We must remember when the kingdom split between Israel and Judah, that nation of Shemitic Negroes were dispersed into many different nations. We see this throughout the scriptures, more importantly in 2 Kings chapter 18:11, the house of Israel, the northern kingdom, taken into the Assyrian captivity in 721 BC, while the kingdom of Judah fell to the Babylonians in 598 BC. Also, the prophet Ezra in the 1611 King James Bible mentions the Israelites had escaped by sea to the Isles far off, known to the Romans as Britain, as well during the Syrian captivity. All right. Let me see. Colors have symbolic meanings and definitions. For example, the color blue means loyalty and truth. As a commemoration to the Most High, to remember his law and statutes, the children of Israel, Numbers 15:38, wore fringes of blue throughout generations on the corners of their garments. Yellow or gold is generosity and elevation of the mind. Okay, line of Judah, the royal line. All right. This one's real interesting right here. Who are the saints? The Fleur-de-lis, in French, the lily flower, is used in heraldry as a decorative design or symbol. It's been used over centuries. While it has negative connotations with association to slavery, the other side has biblical elements. We are all aware of the New Orleans Saints logo, Fleur-de-lis, but what does it mean symbolically? Let's see. As I mentioned earlier in this book, the original inhabitants of Europe were Negroid, the Gremandi race. Negroes in the Paleolithic age, including areas of Austria, southern France, and Palestine. So we see the Fleur-de-lis flower is associated with France. We occupied these lands and regions first. Like J.A. Rogers' title of his book, Nature Has No Color Lines, and people of color are not just from the regions of Africa. We have to ask ourselves, why would a European coat of arms have lines on their emblems? They could trace their lineage through the tribe of Judah, and when the tribes migrated to Europe and different regions, and that mixture, enslaved, and so forth. We must remember the descendants of the children of Israel are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Now, if we know a little history, that in 1719 through 1743, there were certain slaves that came from Africa and brought to Louisiana. The book Creole New Orleans, Race and Americanization has information who these certain slaves were: Judites or Judeans from the slave coast of the Kingdom of Judah. From that map, right here, Negro land. As you can see, Kingdom of Judah. This is a real map. Okay. Let me see where I left off at. Strange how the book has the emblem of the Fleur-de-lis flower. Okay. As we can see right here, Creole New Orleans, Race and Americanization. Right here, the Fleur-de-lis. Okay, just like the New Orleans Saints logo. Okay. Judah would be taken into captivity. Lamentations 1 and 3. Judah is gone into captivity. She, meaning Israel, metaphor, dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. Who are the saints based in biblical knowledge and history, based on the context of the scriptures? We look into the book of Psalms 148 and 14. He, the Most High God, exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, of the children of Israel, a people near to him, not the whole world. Okay. In Deuteronomy 33, 1 through 2, clearly the saints are the Shemitic and Negro Israelites of the scriptures, the ones who received the covenant with Moses, the children of Israel, and they received it on the Mount Sinai, where the Most High was, and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth out of Paran and came with 10,000 of saints, the Israelites. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. So basically I have right here the symbolism of heraldry. Okay. William Cecil Wade. All right. And just to clarify what I was talking about with the lion, you wonder why all these European countries have those lions on them right here. We read of the lion and boar as an ensign of the tribe of Judah, the eagle of the Romans, the two-headed eagle of the East, still borne by two great European empires. And we know that we ruled Europe during those times, the two black-headed eagle. Of the white horse of Woden, borne by Hengist when he invaded Britain, which the shield of Hanover still bears. Of the raven, bore by the ancient Danes, and we know that the ancient Danes were the Danites, the tribe of Dan, if I'm correct. Of the crescent and star, borne by the followers of Mohammed, okay, and now retained by the Turkish Empire as its national device. So the Turkish people over there, they're not the original people in those lands. A lot of admixture. Page 130, the emblem of life, ancient Shemitic races along with, I can't even pronounce that word, but the symbolisms of heraldry right here. I thought this was quite interesting. The pine cone is stated by Count D. Evelina to have been an emblem of life along the ancient Shemitic races, the same as was the crux anista or key cross among the Egyptians. Okay, the cross is not associated with Christ. Okay, I think that's been debunked so many times in other videos. I'm not going to get into that. Right here, the pomegranate. The pomegranate fruit is, according to D. Evelina, the symbol of fertility and abundance. And we know that it's also reference to the commandments, because there's 613 laws, 613 seeds in the pomegranate fruit. Okay, it is born in the arms of Grandi and was used as a badge by Catherine of Aragon. Henry VIII bore this badge impaled or divided with his own badge of a rose at various tournaments. As you can see right here, the ancient arms of France, a shield strewn with lilies. The number of the latter was afterwards reduced to 3. The saints, Fleur-de-lis. Nature knows no color line. This book never gets old, by the way. The ancestress of George, I think that's the 6th of England, Queen Sophia. All right. Consort of George III, grandmother of Queen Victoria. You see the Negroid features, okay? Negroes in coat of arms of noble families, Wolfgang. Oh, these are all white people's names. No, they're not. Okay. You see the emblems, you see the name, German family. Right here. Negroes, coat of arms of noble families. This is in German. Okay. This one is in Central Europe. Okay. German families with Negro origin. Let's read a little bit right here. Some Negroes are undoubtedly the Moors or descendants of them who settled in Hamburg after their expulsion from Spain in the 15th century, some of whom were wealthy. Another important fact as regard to these coat of arms, to be jet black and primitive in appearance, unlike our times, like today, was considered desirable. Therefore, Negroes, or those who could trace ancestry to them, had Negroes in their family crest. Again, Moor was once a symbol of power in all Europe. At a time when prowess in battle ranked first, the Moor had a reputation second to none. In England, says McRitchie, the blacks were not always in servitile race, or a servitile race, excuse me. In the Oxford Dictionary says, blackamoor, now a nickname, was formerly without depreciatory force. As was says, Negroes, men and women wearing crowns and coronets appeared in British heraldry. And on the continent, some Negroes were not only favorites of royalty, but bore the family name of their kingly patrons, became founders of noble families. All right. Right here. German, the crowns, archbishops, mitres. Okay. Central Europe. Right here. See that? All right. And we have here Montrez Herald, if I'm pronouncing that right. Did you see that? He got the headband hand wrapped around his head. It was real popular a couple of years ago, or more than a few years ago, but it got banned from the NBA. But, I mean, look at this. Same thing. Same thing. Right here. All right. The Morels, Mark Morrison, the nose ring, the earrings, okay. Families with names of Negro origin, Holland, Central, Middle Portuguese, the other German. Same thing right here. Johann, coats of arms, German cardinal. German and Portugal. Did these look like slaves that were always here? No, they were not. Let's see. Arms of Aragon, Spain, Central Right. Arms of Kimmersburg, Austria. Austria, St. Peter's, foremost saint and founder of the Catholic Church, is known as jet black Negro. Okay. Let's see, can't pronounce that word. The Black Madonna and Christ of Alting, Beria. Lowest left, St. Maurice in the coat of arms, Kostberg, Germany. All right. Othello, that'll be another video. Shakespeare was a brother too. Let me see. Right here. Austria, Germany, Holland, Belgium. The Negro strand in the peoples of Northern Europe was already discussed in Volume 1, Sex and Race. To this, the following facts may be added. Most of the Negro strand in Northern Europe and Russia was taken in by the Jews, who, in spite of their religious prejudice against them, intermarried with Christians, as Maurice Fishberg in his comprehensive study, Jew, has shown and says Hertz, innumerable aristocrats have married Jewesses. As was said already, the ancient Jews who left Egypt must have been quite Negroid. 27. After mating with Egyptians and Ethiopians for centuries, they were probably even originally Negroid. And there is no probability they were Negroid. Abraham, according to the Bible, came from the Ur of the Chaldees. Chaldea was the seat of the Sumerian civilization, which was long considered to be white Aryan, and they was very wrong. The destruction of black civilization. Right here, what I just read earlier. Part 1. What became of the black people of Sumer? The traveler asked the old man. For ancient records show that the people of Sumer were black. What happened to them? Ah, the old man sighed. They lost their history, so they died. A Sumer legend. We so-called black people don't know our history, so we're dead in this society and everything else. But some of us are waking up to coming to the realization of who we are. Because in all reality, this is our book. This is our book. This is our history. Yes, it's been changed. Yes, there are contradictions in it, but there's not one contradiction about who the people are. Okay? And we know that we are the Most High's people. And this is our history book. It's so evident in here. This is not a book about the world, because the world only view us as so-called black people, that we're only slaves and we have no history. Or now they just want to lump us with ancestry, or we're Nigerians. No, see, the Bible goes with seed lines. Europeans or Caucasians, they go by regions. See, we can trace our migration patterns and where we were at that specific time period. Okay, we may not have the names because there were illiteracy laws here in America. Okay, but overall, we can trace our history because this is our history. You know, this is not a white man's book. You know, just saying. But it was Negroid, says Spearing in The Childhood of Art. The discovery, he says, was very disconcerting to literary historians and philologists, for the race was proven to be not a branch of the sibling Aryans, nor of the gifted Shemites, but of a Negroid people having affinities with Mongols. Okay. It says Diluofiu, if I'm pronouncing it right. Also, in his research, says that the Emilites who once dominated in that region were Negroid or Negroes. One of their kings is mentioned in a connection with Abraham in Genesis chapter 14. And yes, they all were Negroid people. Okay. Let's see. I'm not gonna read all this. I think I read it in some other videos, but you know, I mean, just so much evidence now. There's been evidence of who the real Shemitic peoples are, the real Israelites of the Bible. White and black Jews. Additional notes on Negro strand and Jews. Fishberg M, the Jew page, or I think it's year 119, says the Negroid type of Jew is yet to be mentioned. I wonder why. One occasionally meets with a Jew whose skin is very dark and the hair black and woolly. Nappy-headed, huh? The head long with a prominent occiput. The face is progenerous. The two jaws are projecting in the form of a muzzle. The lips are thick and upturned so that the nostrils can be seen in profile. The Negroid type can be singled out in any large assembly of Jews. They are often mistaken for mulattoes, and the author knows of one who had considerable difficulty to get along in the southern states of America. He says certain biblical scholars are inclined to attribute the origin of the Negro type of Jews to intermarriage with Cushites of the biblical times, and adds that the type is to be met with among Jews of Eastern Europe who have not come into contact with Negroes for centuries. That's a lie. The Negro appearance of many Arabian and African Jews can be readily explained on the mixture with Negroes in those regions, but that of the European type, no such explanation is tenable unless it be attributed to migration from Southern Europe and North Africa. In fact, many Jews driven from Spain and Portugal had settled along the European Jews may have had some Negroid elements, which they obtained by intermarriage with the Moors, who are known to have a considerable infusion of Negro blood. All right. The Negro traits such as dark skin, thick lips, progenitism, woolly hair, etc., which are often met with among the modern Jews, not be cases of atavism, okay, which means he reverts back to his original ancestor, which was a person of color. Okay, it reverts back. Well, the genetic structure reverts back to the the dominant gene, not the recessive. And along with other stuff too. Let me just showing you about the swordness of the blackness. Jeremiah. This book, the Bible, is written all about so-called people of color. People need to wake up. But when you state some of this stuff, people think you're racist, even your own kind, because they're stiff-necked, and then they're the dumb, deaf, and the blind, which the scriptures is talking about, because they're so caught up in La La Land, But it's out there.